The 1990 mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is one of those incredible modern-era coins that continue to surprise collectors all around the world. What might look like an ordinary coin in your pocket change could actually be worth tens of thousands of dollars today. The 1990 Lincoln penny is not just a simple 1-cent coin, it is a piece of American history that holds incredible numismatic value. Today we are going to take a deep dive into the fascinating story of the 1990 Lincoln penny, its design, production history, errors, grading, and why some examples have reached current market values of up to $50,978. Let's start by going back to the year 1990. The Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for over 8 decades. The design first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin features the bust of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has become one of the most iconic designs in all of American coinage. On the obverse of the 1990 penny, you will find the familiar portrait of Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust along with the year 1990. The Mint Mark D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the main facilities of the United States Mint responsible for producing billions of circulating coins each year. On the reverse of the coin, the design features the image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This design, created by Frank Gasparo, was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. If you look closely at the reverse, you can actually see a small representation of the statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail many people overlook. The inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and 1 cent surround the design. Now, let's talk about the physical specifications of this coin. The 1990 Lincoln penny is composed primarily of copper-plated zinc. Specifically, it consists of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. This composition began in 1982 when the mint switched from the traditional 95% copper composition due to rising copper prices. The coin weighs about 2.5 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. It has a plain edge with no reading. When we discuss the value of any coin, several factors come into play. These include mintage numbers, condition, rarity, and demand among collectors. The 1990 penny had a total mintage of over 4.9 billion coins, which means that at first glance, it might not seem rare. However, the high value of certain examples comes from specific minting errors, high-grade specimens, and varieties that make them stand out from the rest. One of the most important aspects of coin collecting is condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. A coin graded at MS60 or higher is considered uncirculated, while those graded at MS65 or higher are often referred to as gem uncirculated. For the 1990 penny, examples in top condition with a bright, red luster and no visible marks can fetch extremely high prices. Some examples graded MS69 red have sold for thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars at major auctions. So, what makes a 1990 penny worth over $50,000? The answer lies in a combination of factors including errors, varieties, and exceptional condition. Let's explore some of the known errors and varieties associated with this coin. One well-known and highly collectible error is the doubled die. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been impressed more than once with slight misalignment, creating a doubling effect on certain details of the design. On the 1990 penny, doubling can often be seen in the lettering on the obverse, such as in the word Liberty or In God We Trust. Some examples also show doubling in the date. Coins with this kind of doubling are extremely valuable to collectors and can reach 5-figure prices depending on the clarity and visibility of the doubling. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the striking process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. A 1990 penny with an off-center strike of about 10 to 30% can sell for hundreds, while more dramatic off-center strikes can reach into the thousands. Clipped planchet errors are also sought after. This type of error occurs when the metal blank used to make the coin is improperly cut, resulting in a curved or straight clip missing from the edge of the coin. Depending on how much of the coin is missing, values can range from a few dollars to hundreds. Another valuable error is the broad strike error. This occurs when the coin is struck outside of the retaining collar, causing it to expand and lose its regular rim. These coins have a unique, flattened look and are also worth more than face value. Perhaps one of the rarest and most interesting errors for the 1990 penny is the wrong planchet error. There are reports of 1990 pennies being struck on dime or foreign coin planchets. When this happens, the coin will be underweight and may appear silver in color instead of the usual copper. These wrong planchet errors can be worth thousands, especially if authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Another element contributing to the high value of certain 1990 pennies is their striking quality. Coins struck with fresh dies and properly aligned machinery will display sharp details and brilliant luster. These coins, when preserved properly, are the ones that receive the highest grades and command the top prices. Collectors also pay attention to the color designation of the coin. Lincoln cents are categorized by color into three groups: brown, BN, red-brown, RB, and red RD. Red coins are the most desirable because they retain their original mint luster and copper sheen. A 1990 penny graded MS69RD is exceptionally rare and can reach market prices well above $50,000. To give you an idea of how significant grading can be, consider that a 1990 penny in average circulated condition might be worth just 1 cent, while one in uncirculated MS67 condition can sell for a few $100s. But when a coin reaches that top-tier MS69RD grade, the value skyrockets. That's exactly why some collectors and investors are willing to pay up to $50,978 for pristine examples. Now, let's talk about the history and production side. The Denver Mint has always been known for its massive coin output. In 1990, millions of coins were struck daily, which sometimes resulted in minor variations and striking inconsistencies. Because of this, finding a perfectly struck coin without blemishes or marks is an incredible challenge. Coin collectors often use magnification tools to inspect the fine details of the 1990 penny. They look at the clarity of Lincoln's hairlines, the sharpness of the lettering, the condition of the fields, and any possible die polish lines or cracks. Even the smallest flaw can make a difference in the final grade. Now, let's consider storage and preservation. If you happen to have a 1990 penny that appears to be in excellent condition, it is crucial to handle it properly. Always use cotton gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints, which can cause permanent damage to the coin's surface. Store the coin in a protective holder or capsule to prevent exposure to air and moisture. Over time, exposure can cause oxidation, leading to a change in color from red to brown, which lowers its grade and value. The current market value of $50,978 for certain 1990 Lincoln pennies represents the top end of the collector's market. This means only a handful of coins have ever reached that level, usually through auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These coins often have impeccable eye appeal, flawless luster, and full red color, verified by grading services with a certification number and holder. It's also important to mention that the Lincoln Penny series remains one of the most widely collected coin series in the world. From beginners to expert numismatists, collectors love the challenge of finding rare varieties and high-grade examples from each year and mint. The 1990 penny is a perfect example of how a common coin can become a treasure when preserved in perfect condition or struck with an unusual error. For many collectors, the thrill of the hunt is what makes this hobby so exciting. Imagine finding a coin worth thousands of dollars just by checking your spare change or old coin jar. There are countless stories of people discovering rare coins by accident, only to later realize their incredible value. The 1990 penny stands as a reminder that even in the modern era of mass production, there are still opportunities to uncover hidden treasures. The combination of historical significance, design beauty, and minting anomalies makes this coin a fascinating subject of study. If you are new to coin collecting and want to start looking for valuable coins like the 1990 penny, start by learning how to identify mint marks, study coin grading, and familiarize yourself with common and rare varieties. The 1993 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin might look like an ordinary piece of change to most people, but for coin collectors and numismatists, it represents one of the fascinating stories in modern U.S. coinage. This coin, minted in Denver, holds a surprising current market value of up to $44,795 under the right conditions. In today's video, we're going to take an in-depth look at the 1993 D Lincoln penny, its history, the reason behind its high value, how to identify rare versions, and what makes certain examples so desirable to collectors all over the world. So stay tuned until the very end, because what might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change could actually be worth a small fortune. Let's start by going back to the beginning. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and featured Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, or front, of the coin. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent went through many changes, both in design and composition. By 1993, the coin had already become one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. The 1993 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D Mint mark located just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. Now, here's where things get interesting. Although billions of Lincoln cents were produced in 1993, only a very small number of them have special features or minting errors that make them extremely valuable today. The Denver Mint struck approximately 6.4 billion pennies that year. However, among those billions, a few coins came out with minting defects or variations that collectors are willing to pay thousands of dollars for. These errors can include double dies, off-center strikes, missing mint marks, broad strikes, or planchet errors where the coin's surface was not struck properly. One of the most famous and sought-after types of rare 1993 D pennies is the double die obverse variety. In this type, the design elements on the front of the coin appear slightly doubled because the die used to strike the coin shifted between impressions. On a double die 1993 D penny, you might notice doubling on the word Liberty, the date, or the phrase "I in God we trust." This doubling effect is usually visible to the naked eye or under a magnifying glass. Coins with strong doubling are the ones that attract the highest values at auction. Another key factor that determines value is the coin's condition. In the coin collecting world, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, uncirculated coin. A 1993 D penny found in regular circulation might only be worth a few cents, or $1 or $2. But if you have one in mint state condition, meaning it was never used in commerce and has no wear, then the value rises dramatically. Mint state 65 or higher coins, especially those certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, can command prices in the thousands. A perfect MS-70 coin can fetch tens of thousands of dollars. And that's how we get to the current market value of $44,795 for the finest known examples. Collectors also pay close attention to the color of copper pennies. There are three major designations used in grading Lincoln cents: brown, red-brown, and red. A full red 1993 D penny, meaning the surface still retains nearly all of its original bright copper luster, is the most desirable and valuable. Because copper tones darken with age, it's rare to find older pennies in a bright red condition. That makes such examples especially sought after by investors and collectors. But what about the composition of the 1993 D penny? By this time, the U.S. Mint had switched the composition of the Lincoln cent from 95% copper to a primarily zinc core with a thin copper coating. This change happened in 1982 to save on production costs. Therefore, the 1993 D penny consists of about 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. Even though it's not made of solid copper, its rarity in perfect condition or with an error makes it valuable well beyond its face value. Now let's talk about how some of these coins reached their astonishing market prices. In recent years, collectors have paid record amounts for pristine examples of modern coins. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have reported that a few 1993 D Lincoln pennies graded MS-69 red sold for several $1,000s. The near-perfect surfaces, sharp details, and original luster make these coins extremely appealing. Add a rare minting error or doubling, and the price can skyrocket to over $40,000 or more. It's important to understand that not every 1993 D penny will be valuable, but knowing what to look for can make all the difference. Start by checking the overall condition. Look for a sharp, clear strike with no wear on Lincoln's cheek, jawline, or coat. The lettering should be crisp, and the fields, the flat areas of the coin, should be smooth and reflective. If you notice doubling on the text or a misaligned strike, you might be looking at a valuable error coin. Another feature to check is the mint mark itself. Occasionally, coins can have repunched mint marks where the D was struck more than once in slightly different positions. These are known as RPMs, or repunched mint marks, and they are highly collectible. A 1993 D penny with a visible RPM can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how strong and noticeable the doubling is. Let's not forget about off-center strikes. When the planchet, or blank coin, is not properly centered under the die during striking, the resulting coin shows part of the design missing on one side and extra blank space on the other. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the higher the value, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. You should also keep an eye out for die cracks and cuds. These occur when the die used to strike the coin develops a crack, leaving raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface. A cud happens when a piece of the die breaks off entirely, leaving a large raised area where part of the design is missing. 1993 D pennies with prominent cuds can also fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars from error coin collectors. Now let's discuss how you can check if your coin is authentic and valuable. The best way to confirm the value of your 1993 D Lincoln penny is to have it graded and authenticated by a professional third-party service. The two most trusted grading companies in the U.S. are the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. They will assess your coin's authenticity, grade, and assign a certification number. Coins that are certified by these services often sell for much higher prices because buyers can trust their condition and authenticity. If you're searching through your coins at home, you can start with a magnifying glass or a coin loupe with at least 10 times magnification. Check for doubling on the lettering, any unusual shapes in the mint mark, or misaligned details. If you notice something unusual, take high-quality photos of both sides and compare them to known varieties on reliable websites like Variety Vista or PCGS Coinfax. Collectors also pay attention to the coin's luster. A bright, cartwheel effect when light moves across the coin's surface is a sign of an uncirculated specimen. Be sure to handle your coin carefully by the edges and avoid touching the surfaces with your fingers, as oils and dirt can damage the metal. Store valuable coins in protective holders or slabs to prevent tarnishing. Now let's talk about market trends. In recent years, modern era coins have gained huge popularity. Younger collectors and investors have started to realize that coins minted in the late 20th century, like the 1993 D Lincoln penny, can hold significant value when in pristine condition. As a result, demand has been rising, driving prices higher. Coins that once sold for a few $100s are now selling for several thousand. Auction results show a clear pattern. A 1993 D Lincoln penny graded MS68 red sold for over $15,000 at auction. Higher graded coins, like MS69 red, have approached or exceeded $40,000. The extremely rare perfect coins, with a flawless strike and no visible marks even under magnification, can reach up to the current record market value of $44,795. So how can you find one of these valuable coins? Start by checking your old coin jars, piggy banks, and change from the 1990s. It's surprising how many high-grade coins were never circulated and might still be sitting untouched in rolls or mint sets. Search through unsearched penny rolls from banks or estate sales. Sometimes collectors stored coins away without realizing their future value. Welcome to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters around the world. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable modern Lincoln cents that has shocked the numismatic community for its rarity, its errors, and its incredible value. We're talking about the 1989 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, A simple coin that many people overlook in their pocket change but which can be worth as much as $30,615 today. Yes, you heard that right, over $30,000 for a single penny that might be hiding in your jar of old coins. So sit back, relax, and listen carefully because you might have this rare treasure sitting right in front of you without even realizing it. Let's start by going back in time to understand the background of this coin. The year 1989 was an interesting one in the history of U.S. coinage. The United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln pennies that year, both from the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia Mint coins usually have no mint mark, while Denver coins carry the letter D. However, in the case of the 1989 penny, some no mint mark examples are not ordinary Philadelphia strikes. There are rare versions that have unique minting errors or unusual die characteristics that make them stand out among millions. These differences are what turn an ordinary 1-cent piece into a collector's dream worth thousands of dollars. The 1989 Lincoln penny was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it features the classic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front, of the coin. This design has been in use since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The reverse side shows the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic image that was introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. But within these familiar details hide small differences that can make your coin extremely valuable. Now, when we talk about the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, we must pay attention to the details. Not every 1989 penny without a mint mark is rare or valuable. In fact, billions of these coins were made at the Philadelphia Mint, and most are only worth face value, just 1 cent. But some coins have special characteristics caused by die errors, striking variations, or off-metal mistakes that set them apart. These are the ones collectors are paying thousands of dollars for today. So what makes the rare 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $30,615? One of the biggest reasons is its condition and its minting error. Coins that come from a fresh, unworn die and are struck on a clean planchet can appear with an unusually sharp strike, strong luster, and no scratches or contact marks. When these are preserved in mint state condition, especially MS67 or higher, they can command massive premiums at auction. The coin's rarity increases dramatically if it shows any kind of mint error, like a doubled die obverse, an off-center strike, or an off-metal planchet point. One of the most famous 1989 Lincoln penny errors is the doubled die obverse variety. When the die that stamps the coin is misaligned or struck twice during production, it creates a doubling effect on the letters or numbers on the coin's face. You can often spot this doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date 1989. If your coin shows clear doubling visible to the naked eye or even under a magnifying glass, it could be worth a fortune. Collectors will pay large sums for coins with clear, strong doubling because they are very hard to find. Another type of valuable error in the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is the off-metal strike. This occurs when a penny is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another coin, like a dime or a foreign coin. These are extremely rare and can easily exceed tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the metal composition and condition. Imagine finding a 1989 penny that weighs less or more than normal. That's a huge clue you might be holding something special. Weight plays an important role here. A normal 1989 Lincoln cent should weigh about 2.5 grams because by this time, the U.S. Mint had switched from copper to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982. So the coin is made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. If your coin weighs around 3.11 grams, it means it might have been struck on an older copper planchet from before 1982. That kind of mistake could make your coin worth thousands of dollars instantly because it shouldn't exist in that year's production. Always weigh your coins carefully using a digital scale to check for such anomalies. Now, let's talk about the coin's appearance. When collectors evaluate a coin, they look for several factors known as the 5 points of grading. These include the strike, luster, surface preservation, eye appeal, and color. A 1989 Lincoln cent with full red luster, known as RD in numismatic grading, can be worth far more than one that has turned brown or shows signs of oxidation. The full red color means the coin has not been exposed to air or moisture for long, maintaining its original mint brilliance. A 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln cent graded MS67RD by PCGS or NGC can sell for several $1,000s, with record sales pushing above $30,000 for particularly stunning examples. So how can you tell if your 1989 penny is one of these valuable ones? Start by inspecting the coin under good lighting. Look at the obverse side, that's the front with Lincoln's portrait, and check the date and the word Liberty. Use a magnifying glass or microscope if you have one. Look for doubling, clear sharp letters, or any unusual texture. Then, flip the coin over to the reverse and study the Lincoln memorial. Check for clarity in the details, like the lines between the columns and the small statue of Lincoln visible in the center. Any weak strike, misalignment, or die crack could indicate a valuable error. Another key factor is mint luster. The way light reflects off the surface can tell you if your coin is uncirculated. Coins with strong cartwheel luster, a circular shine that moves across the surface when tilted, usually grade higher and sell for more. Always handle coins by the edges and avoid touching the surfaces, as even fingerprints can reduce their value significantly. If you believe you have a rare 1989 no-mint mark penny, it's important to have it professionally graded by a trusted company like PCGS, NGC, or NX. These organizations authenticate coins, determine their grade, and issue official certification slabs that protect and display the coin. Certified coins sell for much higher prices because buyers know exactly what they're getting. Now let's look at the market value. Over the years, the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln cent has shown a steady rise in value for high-grade and error examples. In one notable auction, a pristine MS68RD specimen sold for an astonishing $30,615. That sale made headlines because collectors didn't expect such a modern coin to fetch such a high price. It proved that even coins from the 1980s, when billions were minted, can become incredibly valuable if they are in flawless condition. Lower mint state grades like MS65 or MS66 can still sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on demand and rarity. The collector market for Lincoln cents is massive and growing every year. Enthusiasts are constantly searching for coins with rare characteristics, transitional metals, and minting errors. The 1989 no-mint mark penny fits perfectly into this category. It's modern enough that many people still have examples lying around, but rare enough in top condition to make it a treasure worth seeking. Let's not forget about the historical importance of Lincoln cents. The design by Victor David Brenner first appeared in 1909, replacing the Indian head cent. It was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. Lincoln's image became a symbol of unity, liberty, and endurance, qualities deeply associated with the United States itself. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has witnessed many changes in composition, minting techniques, and design details, yet it remains one of the most collected coins in the world. As we continue, let's talk about some practical tips for coin collectors who want to find valuable 1989 pennies. First, always check your change. It might sound simple, but many incredible discoveries have been made from pocket change and coin rolls from banks. You can buy rolls of pennies and search through them using a magnifier and good lighting. Look for uncirculated examples with bright luster, minimal marks, and strong details. Even small die errors can increase the value significantly. Second, invest in proper storage. If you find a coin that looks promising, store it in a 2x2 coin holder, a plastic flip, or an airtight capsule to prevent damage. Keep coins in a cool, dry place away from humidity and chemicals. The better you preserve your coins, the higher their value will remain over time. Third, learn about coin grading.